Most of us start off with no money and lots of time. So what we do is we take our time and we go into the marketplace of life and we trade. We trade weeks and months for lifestyle. We trade it for money. We trade it for cars and homes and travel. We trade. Now, you can tell if you have been a good trader by looking at the quality of your life today. Did you trade well? If you traded your time, if you spent your time, if you invested your time really well, then you have a wonderful lifestyle. It means you have a beautiful home, beautiful car, you have money in the bank because you traded, you exchanged your time very well for high value. Okay? So what is the very best investment of your time? Experts will tell you the very best investment of your time is to increase your earning ability, is to spend money getting better at the most important things you do. Here's what we have found with regard to business. All business skills are learnable. You can learn any business skill that can help you to increase your earning ability. If you're in sales, you can learn any sales skill. If you want to earn money or make money, you can learn any money-making skill. All business skills are learnable skills. Now, you may not be able to play a violin like a great violinist, or you may not be a great athlete or a great artist, because those are special skills. But in terms of business, you can learn any business skill, because every person who has a business skill today at one time did not have that skill. And then they said, that skill would help me. And so they studied and practiced and they took courses and they became good in that skill. Now here is another thing that I discovered. And I'll tell you about this in a minute. I had a very poor education, so I thought other people were smarter than me. And if other people are smarter than you, it means that you are dumber than they are. And then I thought, well, if they're smarter than me, then they are worth more than I am. But if other people are worth more, then you must be worth less. Now, the feeling of being worth less is the biggest single problem in the world today. The feeling of being not very valuable and not very important, which leads to low self-esteem, which leads to negativity and anger and depression. It leads to giving up. It leads to not even trying. Is the biggest problem in the world today. And high self-esteem, confidence in yourself, is the greatest blessing. But here's what I found. Nobody is smarter than you. Nobody's better than you. Some people have different talents and abilities, but talents and abilities are spread quite evenly. And so you have more talent and ability than you could use in 100 lifetimes. You could never use all the intelligence and ability you have. Yes? I know how you got into sales. Nothing else was working, right? So you got into sales. Do you know how we get into sales? It's like backing up a car at night. You back up and whoomp, you hit something, and you get out. It's a sales job. So, well, I'll try that for a while. So 80% of people who have sales jobs, 80% are still giving it a try. They're trying it for a while. But 20% of people who fall into sales say, this is an opportunity. If I become very good in selling, I can earn a lot of money. And they become very serious about selling. So I got into selling, and I didn't know any of these things. And I got no training. Most people get no training. And so I went and started knocking on doors. Telephone calls and knocking on doors. I would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would be waiting when people came to work at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I would knock on doors for offices and businesses all day long. At night, I would go out and knock on doors in homes and apartments. I would work from about 7 or 8 in the morning until about 9 o'clock at night. And I would sometimes work for a week and never make a sale. The first month I worked, I did not make a sale for 1 month. And I knocked on doors 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and made no sales. But I was desperate. I had no money. I had to borrow money to eat. So I would knock on doors, and eventually I would make a sale. And it would be just enough to enable me to survive until my next sale. I was living in a little guest house with one room, and it cost $5 a day, which included breakfast. And if I didn't make a sale, they would take my clothes and they would throw them out. They had a rule in that guest house: no pay, no stay. And so I would work very, very hard. And after about 6 months, I noticed there was one man in our company who was selling 10 times as much as anyone else. And he wasn't working very hard. He would come in at 9 o'clock, and a prospective customer would come in at 9:15, and they would sit over there, and you didn't know what they were saying. They go, ho, 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 talking back and forth. Customer would take out his checkbook, write a big check, and take it. He would turn it in, and then he would go out in the morning and make 1 or 2 sales. At lunchtime, he would have lunch with another prospective customer, make a sale or 2 in the afternoon. I was maybe making 1 sale a week. He was making 5 sales a day. And then he would finish work at 5 o'clock, like most people in Sweden. He would quit, and if he would go to beautiful restaurants, and he had beautiful girlfriends, and he would go to nightclubs, and he would have vacations, and he had a beautiful life. And everybody looked up at him. His name was Pete. And we said, oh, Pete, wow, he's so good. Look at that. It's almost like he was doing magic with customers. Well, one day I did something which changed my life, and it brought us together today. Is I went to Pete, and I said, Pete, what are you doing differently from me? What are you doing to make so many sales? And he said, well, you show me your sales presentation, and I will give you some feedback. I said, you show me yours, and I'll show you mine, because I'd never seen one. I said, by the way, what is a sales presentation? I mean, you show me your presentation. And how do you define a sales presentation? Well, he said a sales presentation is a logical and orderly process. And then he explained to me a sales presentation. And I'll give you the logical and orderly process, because from that day onward, I was never the same.